All right, so I'm so excited. If you're new to my work, my name is Aurora Menegallo. I'm the founder of Repurpose Your Purpose. And once in a while, I have a video chat with a past client that wants to share what happened during our work together. So today, I'm starting the year. So happy to see Ebony after a while. And I'm gonna let you, Ebony, introduce yourself, and then I have some questions for you.
Hi, so I'm happy to be here and it's so good to see you. And I'm Ebony Williams. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I'm also an organizational change and wellness consultant. And so I work with nonprofits, different corporations, schools, um, just folks who are interested in improving their staff wellness, but also improving the wellness of the communities that they support and work with in a range of different ways. So that's a little bit about what I do.
So I have to say, one of the things that I really love when I work with clients like you is that I'm a huge fan of your work. It's really needed, and so it's an extra pleasure, to support you. Um, so anyway, let's take it from the beginning. I am curious, like, what were you feeling? What was going on that prompted you to get in touch with me?
Mm. I think there were a couple of things happening for me, one of which I had left my work at an agency. I had a child in late 2019, and then COVID happened in early 2020 when I had just gone back to work. And it disrupted kind of like the plans that I had to build. Um, and I found myself kind of stuck and stalled, and a lot of times feeling limited time, limited access to resources in terms of like, to being in the middle of COVID, right? And so when there was some space that emerged, I also found myself still stuck because I realized I had a lot of doubt, and I had a lot of, I wasn't trusting in my knowing or in my wisdom. I wasn't trusting in my ability to make things happen. And that just added to the feeling of stuckness and moving forward with the dreams that I had. And I also felt like I had so many dreams and so many different directions and so many different things that I started to feel like it's not possible. And it was overwhelming and it was disorganized in my mind. And so I'm not surrounded by folks who actually know how to organize um, ideas in this way, like in terms of figuring out how to think through a business or how to think through a venture. And so it was helpful to me to know that like you worked with my partner, and my partner is like, maybe Aurora can help you. And I'm like, I do need help. So, so that was the kind of motivation.
Yeah, I have to say though that even though I do this for other people, we all sometimes need help. I have a coach too, right? Because when it's you, sometimes it just gets so overwhelming. So okay, I am curious, what is something that shifted then for you during our time working together?
Yeah, I think, well, I appreciate that you challenged me on areas where I was stuck, which was the whole point for me, because I knew I was um, it was hard to move out of those spaces and out of thinking in a certain way to some degree. And so the way that I was overwhelmed was kind of manifesting in ways that like were very stressful and very anxiety producing for me. So the interesting thing as I look back, and that we had talked about in the moment, was there's so much about the things that were remembered and the things that were um, kind of almost like reclaimed as a result. Like there are dreams that I've had forever that were great guiding posts, but I had put them aside, or I had not forgotten them, but they didn't carry or take up as much space, and they actually needed to. So I think there was like a return to wisdom, to like my wisdom, that was my guide throughout. And just trusting that, right? So I think that's a lot of what emerged for me, like trusting my wisdom, having less doubt in myself, um, and then returning to what I knew and what still drove me and what still gave me passion was like the root of everything. But I had gotten confused by all the other roots and all the other things that were coming up, that it returned me to center. So I think that is a huge takeaway for me.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Yeah, that's so powerful. And, it was really interesting for me because from the outside, I just was like, oh, it's so there. It's so amazing, right? So it was really wonderful to see it emerge that way.
Which is helpful that you could reflect that and see that, right? Because it's hard to see it so much when you're in it. So that was like really helpful for me.
So, what is something you accomplished since then? Since we last talked.
Yeah. I mean, so as you know, when we started, I was working on like a slide deck to send out to folks, because my hope was to do consulting on my own. I have been doing consulting for quite a long time through other organizations who I end up, getting contracts through, and that's been great and helpful. But I really wanted to also have my own kind of consulting practice built. And so I had been working on this deck. And the funny thing is, I haven't even sent it out yet. And I think in part because I have had so many opportunities come my way, and I have been able to take most of them. And also I've had the freedom of being like, this one doesn't necessarily fit for my time, or this doesn't fit for really kind of what I want to do at the moment. So I'm not going to take it, and that's okay. But I initially thought that was going to be my big accomplishment, is sending out the slide deck to everyone. And, but really, I think what it is the practice of learning how to talk about what I do in a different way. I think it's also being able to truly see the amount of work that I put in. Like one workshop that may be 60 to 90 minutes, I used to charge for just the 60 to 90 minutes, and I put in hours and hours of work. And now I think I actually see fully the work that I do put in, and how much that actually contributes to spaces. And so I charge what I'm worth, and I feel like that was a huge hurdle. But it allows me access to do projects that I really love and that serve communities that may not have access otherwise. So finding kind of that space in between to do the things that I love all around, but also to like charge for my time, and to also do passion projects at the same time. So those are, I think, huge things that I've accomplished.
And I think you got busy.
Very busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good. I will take it.
Yeah. So congratulations on, on all the work and everything that's been coming your way. Yeah. If someone is thinking about working with me, but they're still on the fence, so getting some coaching, is still on the fence, what would you say to them?
I mean, I would say that I think for folks like me who are in like the helping professions, I know other folks in the helping profession, and we are not necessarily the ones likely to ask for help. Mm-hmm. We also, and I know as a therapist, my program and other folks that I know, there's not much that you're taught automatically about business. And actually the structure of how to earn is sometimes very disempowering. And so I would say that folks in the fields that I have been in and that I am in, definitely I would refer to you. But also just anyone who is seeking insight, because I'm a big fan of having like a sounding board, and I'm a big fan of being challenged. And even if it's hard and even if I don't like it, like I'm a big fan of it at the end of the day, because it helps you work through your thoughts. And I think I was able to hear myself in a different way. Specifically around like my dreams and the things that I want to create in the world. And I was also able to see my own like wisdom around this, because for I think most of my life, if not all of my life, I have felt that I am terrible at these things. And I know when we started, that's a lot of the language that I would use, like I'm not good at this, or I'm not, like I don't know anything about business. And I think it just being able to see my own wisdom helps me shift some of that thinking, that I'm not terrible at it, that really it just comes with the heart, and my heart is always in the place of helping others, and so everything else just kind of can follow.
That's so beautiful.
So that would say, I would say yes.
No, that's beautiful.
Invest in yourself.
All right, so a lot of people that find out about Repurpose Your Purpose really feel like they want to do something, or they might not know. Sometimes they know, like you, but sometimes they don't know, but they really have this feeling of like, I really want to do something I love, want to have fulfilling work. So I wonder if you have any words of encouragement. You want to share something about pursuing what you like, doing what you like, living from that possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I have learned over time like what my values are. And I think my values, I try for them to be my guiding principles on what I do and how I operate. And one of my biggest values is freedom. And I have started to try to move my life in a place that is more about freedom. And through freedom financially, gives me freedom of time, and I can spend that with family, and I can spend that doing the things that I love. And so I would encourage folks to really look at what your values are. Look at how your work isn't about, doing work so that you can just do more work, but to figure out if your value is about truly living, and how your work can reflect your values, the things that are super important to you and the life you want to have, and also how you live. Because so many of us, I know I was very much taught that really you live to work, and I don't want to do that. So if you're matching your values to what you do and what you love and what you have a passion for, even if you don't think it can bring you financial stability or wellness, there is a way, when done well, that it can go together. So I would encourage folks to explore that.
Yeah, I think it's so important to, do something that you like. I mean, what are we on the planet for, even if we don't enjoy it, right?
That's right.
All right. So, anything else you wanna share before I have my last question?
I think the big thing for me is just being able to have space to navigate some of these things. And so that's been really important. So just paying gratitude to you for holding that space. And that it's really important. I mean, you're my first experience of working with a coach. And so I think that it was a good one. And and I got what I came for, right? And I've seen that through the results, and I didn't see it like right away, but I'm someone who takes time to marinate, and I need time away from whatever it is I'm doing to actually like process it and integrate it, and it just naturally integrates. And then I start to see it. And so, yeah, the results are there, and it's not quick and easy. For anybody who's interested, like it's not quick and easy, but it does emerge, I think, naturally for me.
Yeah, I think you're pointing out to three things. One is that I really observed through my practice is that people have their own timing. And so when I, started this, I would get really nervous about, oh my God, how fast, and now I'm like very relaxed because I realize, you know what, people need their time and I'm not in charge of that time.
Yeah.
And I trust the process, right? When it's the right time, it will start taking shape. The second thing I want to say is like, as much as, I invite everybody come and be my client, like it's up to you, you know any coach, therapist, I mean, whoever you're working with can only do so much.
Mm-hmm.
The rest is you. And so I think it was my privilege to be on your corner as you were embarking in this big transformation. You are the one who made it possible. And then I think the third thing that really stood out in what you just said to me is the courage. Like, we have to have the courage to commit to ourselves, because there's a level of like, I'm gonna stick with this, or I'm gonna stay even if it's challenging, or whatever it is, right? That takes courage. And again, something has to open up. So I started this saying how I'm a big fan of your work. I am super happy to see it expand and reach more and more people. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, support you, hire you, where should they find you? What should they do?
So if anybody wants to reach out to me, they can find me on Instagram at Root Wellness Healing 47, or through my website. So that's www.rootwellnesshealing.com, and that's for my consulting, training, and organizational wellness work. And then for clinical therapy support, that's at www.ebonymawilliams.com. So you can find me there. Feel free to reach out. I love talking to folks, and I hope to hear from you.
I mean, it's really great. Thank you so much for sharing this story. I really hope everybody also feels really inspired, from this. And you just made my day. I just love to, I didn't know some of these updates until today. So
I know, which is so, I'm glad on my end, I love that we get to chat because I get to update you.
That's right. Okay, I'm gonna close the recording right now.